Hi, my name is Patrick Mourdant. I'm 17 years old. I can't vote, I can't enlist, and I can't drink, but I can drift. I'm looking forward to New Jersey because it's a new track for most of us. And after my top 16 in Atlanta, it'll be interesting to see how the crowd as well as the other drivers react to me.
Formula D rookie Patrick Mourdant was riding high after his first ever top 16 showing at Formula D Atlanta. But with that top 16 spot comes more pressure to perform. With the eyes of the entire Formula D series on the young driver, Pat ventured to New Jersey to tackle the all-new Englishtown Raceway drift course.
Englishtown, New Jersey was a great track. It was very fast. At the same time, it was very tight and technical just because the track was very narrow. So we really had to be on point. Since I did make top 16 in Atlanta, I have noticed that a lot of the drivers now are opting to not really give me any advice, although there are a few guys out there that are still helping me out. Michihiro Takatori is driving the Super Autobox R34. The biggest piece of advice that Takatori gave me this round was to try and up my rear tire pressure in order to use fourth gear. Basically, he said back home in Japan, a lot of the drivers would up the rear tire pressure, and even the slower cars would gain faster entries than the higher horsepower cars. He actually told me I needed to go up to around 70 to 80 PSI. And after we did that, we started making more tire smoke. The car was a lot more stable. And at the same time, we were able to stay a bit faster through the rest of the course.
Obviously, Patrick has done his due diligence in taking traction away from the rear in order to make it that high on the bank for that long. But you can do that by narrowing the tire size, as Stefan did, adding tire pressure, stiffening shocks or springs, or just taking aero away from that rear wing.
The initial turn was a sort of blind corner. It was very fast and it was slightly banked. And as you came around the turn, it sort of came up to a little bit of a crest. So right as you're entering the rear clipping zone through one, right around there, you come over a little hill and you can't really see anything over that hill until you're right there at it. It was really hard to try and avoid any inconsistencies in the track, as you didn't really know what was coming up next. It's not like I have a huge team or anything like that. I was fortunate enough to be able to bring LJ Garcia with me. He does all of the paint and body work. Just in case we got into a crash or anything like that, he was our best bet to try and fix the car quickly. He helped me change tires and just change the oil and maintain the car while we were out there as well. My first qualifying run to get into top 16 was a complete zero. Originally, it started out going great. I was really high on turn one. I came out of it with a lot of speed, but I almost dropped the tire off. And in order to prevent that, I tried to slow the car down a lot, and it caused me to straighten and lose my drift, getting a zero. Going into my second run, I was a bit nervous and a bit kind of like, okay, you know what? I have to just go for it, all or nothing. My second qualifying run, I went out. I pretty much just gave it my all. I floored it the entire way through the course. I was up high on the banking through turn one. I was out wide on the rear clip, had a lot of angles, slowed the car down just how they wanted, came out wide going down the hill, was right on the clip, not quite sure how I didn't knock over the clipping cone, came past that main clip, was out wide, and then hit the final clip through the exit. But unfortunately, I think due to my entry speed being a little slow from our lack of horsepower, we didn't get in and only received an 87.5. Coming back into the pits after not qualifying is definitely a horrible feeling. To come back in, it was a big letdown. Everybody was saying, okay, yeah, we have a lot of momentum. Let's keep going with it. We can qualify this round. And to come back in and just kind of go, oh, our best just didn't cut it. It's just a horrible, empty feeling. It's the worst thing ever. When things like this do happen, it definitely motivates you to, change everything on the car and make sure, okay, you know what, next time I'm not going to have this problem. I'm going to make sure that I find a way that I am on point and I am on the same level with everybody else, myself as well as the car. Englishtown is a high-speed course, so you really need fourth gear, and my transmission just wasn't cutting it. It was popping out of fourth gear, so I would have to manually hold it in gear and then try and initiate the drift and run most of turn one in fourth with one hand on the steering wheel, the other hand holding the shifter.
He needs another transmission and a better clutch system on his car.
Now that I know that my transmission's dead, I'll probably just change over to another standard SR20 transmission.
Despite what you think, drifting is an incredibly difficult motorsport, and one top 16 appearance does not guarantee success in the Formula D series. Winning in Formula D is especially hard if, like Pat, the driver does not have the support of a full professional team. Pat's splash on the scene has made an impression on some potential sponsors who are now looking into being a part of his program. Pat will now get ready to battle 120-degree temperatures as Formula D makes its next stop in Las Vegas.